Please welcome Tim Buxton.
Have you ever felt like you're in the wrong place? Maybe you've taken the bus or train and you got off at the wrong place. And you know that little voice in the back of your head, maybe it's your paranoid uncle that's saying, stranger danger, you know, like the voice that we hear growing up. You know, it's a dangerous world out there when you're in a foreign place. Well, you know what I found that despite that very popular concept, we need strangers in this world. You know, we don't just need strangers. Every day we are encountering strangers and we are working hard to build bridges with them to connect us with them. You know, you drop your child off at daycare for the first time. We need strangers. Maybe you or a loved one has been recently in the care of nurses or a doctor. We need strangers. You know, research actually tells us that in a global study of 17,000 mobile phones, wallets with money in them that were lost were actually returned by strangers 72% of the time. Isn't that incredible? So it's pretty obvious that strangers are inclined actually to be kind, right? We need strangers. I want to tell you today that I've spent the last 20 years as an international humanitarian worker, working some of the most hostile environments in the world. For the last 7 years, I've led my own non-profit organisation, helping to welcome refugees here to Australia. In 2014, I took my young family, my last assignment overseas, to live in northern Iraq. It was June 2014. It was a very, very hot day. And I spent the next 3.5 years with my young family, 3 young children, beautiful wife. We spent the next 3.5 years serving refugees that had fled ISIS on the front line. And it was there that I learned that we need strangers. And I also learned how to build the bridges between us so that we can make a brighter and better world. Now, there was one time we'd been living there for about a year and I wanted to take the family to visit another American family in a town about 4 hours away. And of course, we all pile into the 4-wheel drive and we embark on this journey. There's 2 routes we can go, right? One is the straight highway route and the other is the wild and windy scenic route. You can guess what an adventurous guy like me chose, right? So we took the windy route and we get to this one part I was really looking forward to. I'd seen photos of it. The Kandil Mountains of Iraq, a few miles from the border of Iran and not too far from the border of Turkey either. And we get there and we get this one point, there's this winding, crazy road. And as we're going down this road, right, with the family in the back making a ruckus of noise, we actually had a friend that was a photographer visiting with us and she was frothing. She was like, this is amazing. And we get down to this part and we stop because there's this beautiful, beautiful memorial. Flowers everywhere we get out and we read and it's the death of some recent villagers who had been killed in some bombs that had been dropped recently right in this area. And we kind of pay our respects, get back in the car and we get down the road and then suddenly, I kid you not, out of nowhere there's this guy and he's standing in the middle of the road with a semi-automatic, I don't know what kind of gun, but it was scary looking right across his chest right here. He had the Jimudani. And now I've been through many checkpoints before, but this one just for me was like, this is a bit not ordinary. And he gets in right up close to me, and I wind down the window, and I'm like, yes. And he mumbles like, please, in his language, and I'm trying to use my broken Kurdish. He's like, passports. I go, okay. And then suddenly, I look at him, and I say to him, as he actually wants to grab my phone out of my right near out of my hand, he's like, what were you doing? What were you doing? So I give him my phone. I swipe through, and I was like, did you know these people? Suddenly, he takes a step back, and you could feel the tension just completely release. And I took my hand, a bit of a release too, off that steering wheel. And he says to me, yes. And I said, I'm so sorry. I said, thank you. And once again, he's like, oh, okay, thank you. And I said, yes, thank you. And I realized this man was doing his job, protecting his people, and he was actually protecting me and our family. And I learned that moment. And as he actually led us and guided us out, we were going to go the wrong way, actually, but he led us and guided us out the right way after we made that connection. And I learned this one thing. We need strangers through 3 simple steps. If we ask curious questions, we can open their hearts. They'll know we genuinely care. And secondly, if we believe in them and believe the best in them, we too will then go to connecting that bridge. And lastly, if we are able to challenge them, to test that bridge, say, will you help me? I promise you, they will desire with all their heart to live up to that expectation. Friends, it is a friendly world. Will you help me in building these bridges so that we can make a better world?
Yes.